So I think there's a tremendous amount of passion and mission in people who enter leadership in the nonprofit sector. I think the gap that's been missing is how to take that passion and take that mission and manage towards strategy and impact.
The organization itself was really in flux. It was kind of this incubated small business that had grown up almost in spite of itself and had reached a level where clearly our revenues had skyrocketed, our human capital in terms of our FTE count had skyrocketed, but in terms of services and the execution of those services, we were really almost at a loss. And I think myself and my co-partner at the time, Lord Shubilla, both had a vision about how we could operate more efficiently in order to really honor the services that we were contracted for. But we really had no way to structure our business to achieve those.
We had an intuition that what the challenges that were in front of us were technical challenges, they were people challenges, they were how people work together challenges, they were walls that we were hitting in our own assumptions that we were making as individuals and a collective inside the organization about the work that we were doing. And so there was a part of us as we did interviews with different consultants that was looking for someone who could bring both of those conversations to the table. So we had, as an organization, 2 failed attempts to really have strategic planning embolden the organization and bring new energy into the organization. Instead, the experience had left the organization drained, had left morale fairly low.
So Growth River came at a time on the tail end of a strategic planning process that, while had narrowed down our vision and our mission and narrowed down our scope of services, it did not give us the tools we needed to build an effective service delivery system and an effective lens in which to build new business opportunities. And that's where the Growth River process came in. So I think it really forced us to develop a discipline that is not intrinsic in the nonprofit culture around delivery and metrics and financial viability and positioning, things that we're not taught in graduate school of education.
I think it also taught us that if we weren't having conflict, we weren't dealing with the difficult issues inside our organization. And so it reframed for the group the role of conflict in growth. And for us, who were a pretty conflict-adverse group at the time, and we sort of judged the quality of our meetings by how fast we could come to consensus, we reframed that to say, if we've come to consensus too quickly and 3 people on the team have been silent, what does that silence mean about this consensus? I can, without a doubt, say 2 years later as I come into this program and I have to help other people understand the value of giving and receiving feedback, I'm a complete convert to that belief that the feedback process is only as powerful as the power you give it to hurt you rather than to help you. And I think once we realized that it didn't have to be as painful if we just shifted our perspective on it. That then opened the door for us to have all kinds of conversations, which before that had been very difficult conversations it had. We got a shared language through the process, which can't be underestimated. We started to have norms as a group about how we were going to behave with each other and how we were going to talk about our experiences together.
One of the, I think, greatest gifts around the Growth River process was having a team of advisors that as I continued to evolve as a leader, that I could go to and say, hey, I'm not especially sure what to do about this opportunity. Because it's the one thing about evolving, right? Not only is the organization evolved, but you as a leader have got to also evolve.
For a leader, like myself at the time, who was used to having a tremendous amount of control over the direction and strategy of the organization, I have to ask myself, okay, if I weren't doing everybody else's job, what would I be doing with my time? Which means you have to redefine, I had to redefine myself in that role as a leader in order to allow the other leaders in the organization to grow and own part of the strategy.
We found people have been performing at a much higher rate. We've been more efficient in our delivery. We're actually, as I said, surviving a financial crisis that we probably would not have survived had we not utilized our resources in a very directed way, because now the team can play with each other in ways that they could not before.
Of all of the strategic planning work that I've done in my career, this particular work that we did together was among the most real, among the most influential, and changed how I thought about my organization and also how I thought about myself as a leader.